Hey everybody! So we're back for another review of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Tequila, Tears, and Texas, Season 8, Episode 6. Once again, thank you to all of you who have been liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Um, Today's my birthday. I am 36. Um, and thank you to all of you who wished me a happy birthday even last night. I appreciate it. Um, I didn't do really anything for my birthday. I ordered myself an ice cream cake, just kind of chilled out. And I'm gonna tell you why. Just a quick little story before we get into the episode. Why I chose not to celebrate this year, like I usually do. Because last year around this time, I had gone out for my birthday with a friend I've known since I was like 20. Because I had gone to Baltimore for a year and worked. It was my intention to stay there from New York, but um, anyway, and in that process, I had gotten offered my job back in New York. They asked me to come back. They wanted to fix the fact that I left for many reasons. But, I went out to dinner and I showed this, the email to my friend, and I was like, look, they asked me this and the other. And this is somebody, like I said, I've known since I was like 20, 21. And this is also a person who is an attorney who's not practicing anymore, but is like a professor of law. So I would never, to be clear, I would never, like tell somebody my good news about that like they were, you know, in a bad situation or down or something like that. I would never do that. And I shared it with this person because I thought, we were friends and it was good news. And, I know that she was in transition to some degree from going from a lawyer to a professor. But anyway, we were having dinner and I really, so we kind of told her, she was like, oh, congratulations. It seems like, whatever. And I was paying attention because, I drink my margaritas, was having seafood. And I don't know what happened in the conversation, but at some point, we were talking about this show, literally. She just went like off about this. I don't even remember like exactly what it was about or whatever, because it didn't make any sense. And when I can't follow, I can't follow. First of all, the worst thing you can ever do with me in public is to raise your voice and get loud. I do not believe in that. I think arguments are to be had in private. First of all, and I was just like, I was say her name, but I was like, are you for real right now? It's not that deep. Like, why are you? Why are you tripping? We don't know these people. Like, girl, we can talk about something else. But she had gotten so loud to the point where people at the other table, and it was space. It was like it was like a Saturday night, were looking. I was just like, whatever. We have literally. I remember at the end of dinner, I just said thank you. This was interesting. We have not spoken since then, and I certainly was not going to reach out. I feel like she owed me an apology to anybody. I just and the more I thought about it, I was just like, where did we go wrong in that conversation? Like, cause we were always like, chatting about stuff we watched like on TV. Like, we never took it seriously. So to me, it was like not like that deep. And I just remember thinking, how did and then you have to stop and think. I really just think she wasn't happy for me, and she made that night bad. And that's why I really, first of all, I don't keep people close. And then when you try to share something and then these kind of things remind you, that's why you don't mess with anybody. It's disappointing. So I just said, you know what? I'm not going to let anybody do that to me this year, whatever. Anyway, but thank y'all. So let's move on. So let this be the last episode we talk about this bullshit with Naneka and Wendy, okay? Everybody had kind of checked out that conversation because we just were not getting it. So Wendy said that people got their head tied because they were bringing up about who knows who and who doesn't know who. And so Candace is in the confessional and other people were talking. They were like, well, she had her hair tied at your baby's event or whatever. And she was like, well, everybody got their hair tied, including Giselle. But it was of a different color, and they were referring to her as a Gile, which is, a special title you give to somebody in your life. So you can't say that you weren't friends. And so I feel like Wendy, even with the stuff on social media now, where her talking about, oh, you said you didn't know me, but y'all were liking my pictures, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, Wendy, I actually think that only confirms to me that you're lying. The whole issue from the gate was that Naneka never claimed to know you. She said we had seen each other before, and you were acting like that was the first time y'all had seen each other, and essentially that you knew your mother was doing all of this stuff. Okay? Whatever the case was. So when you're saying, well, why were you liking my photos if you didn't know me? If you didn't know, I was like, well, Wendy, that was her whole point. She was like, why are y'all acting like y'all have no idea who we are? And so I'm just, even the stuff that she did last week, Wendy, like, just cut it. Just cut it, okay? So Karen tries to get them to just stop, okay? Because it was enough of that. And honestly, we tired of it. We don't want to hear nothing else about it. Wendy accuses Naneka of being on crack. And so the producers basically asked, you have any receipts for that? And she was like, well, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I didn't think all the extra shit with Giselle saying we shouldn't be accusing people of, like, drug habits. Like, people call people crackheads all the time. Like, you know, people don't really mean you on drugs. At best, it was a lame ass read from Wendy, like everything else she does. Like, I wouldn't even. Okay. Anyway, so when Karen gets them to stop, they're out there playing music. Wendy starts pretending when Wendy starts pretending to twerk and party and all this other shit. I'm telling y'all, Wendy carries on like that and tries to, like, purposely get out of character to pretend she's unbothered with all the extraness because she is bothered. Because she's been called out on her shit. I'm telling y'all. I'm not. Wendy is lying. Okay? So they start dancing. Mia starts acting like she's in a strip club per usual. Okay? Then Candace tried to pull Naneka aside. And she does. She said just to check on her. She said, because honestly, you seemed really hurt by what you said happened. She did not accuse Wendy's mother of doing anything. She didn't accuse Wendy of doing anything. It just seemed like to me Candace just kind of went to check on her as the new person in the group, right? Wendy literally walks over, pulls Candace to the side, and says, when it comes to being my friend, don't talk to her about me. And I was like, and Candace said okay in the moment. But when they showed her in the confessional, she was basically like, I'm not going to change my approach because Wendy is my friend, or her spots, or whatever she was saying. And I was just like, that in and of itself was telling. Because I really think Wendy was just afraid of what she was going to say that may further prove to me how right I am about you being wrong, Wendy, and lying. But it wasn't a good look, Wendy. It wasn't. Anyway, so they're at dinner. Now, in their tacky ass fashion, okay, they're at dinner in a restaurant. I can't remember exactly how they get on it, but Wendy asks at the table, who swallows? Robin raises her hand with fucking enthusiasm. Ma'am. First of all, I don't even think that's appropriate restaurant conversation. Certainly not inside the restaurant. Now, if y'all was out on a patio private and hopefully the waiter or waitress wouldn't be out there, maybe I'd let y'all get away with it. But that shit is tacky as hell. And Robin, even if you do, I'm going to need you not to admit that. At dinner. Girl, that's nasty. Anyway, when Karen, let me tell y'all something. Karen's confessional commentary is really, it's giving this season. It's giving, okay? Karen says, well, given the headlines, I wouldn't swallow anything from one. Girl, you don't know what you're drinking? I said, damn, ouch. Whew. That's like somebody punch you in the gut. And the Naneka's nasty ass says she does too. I'm like, ew. First of all, ew just because of the act. And then two, admitting it in front of people to have on tape. And Robin, you got kids at home, boys at that. Three, why are y'all sharing that? People don't need to know. I don't need to know about Mia. Y'all are nasty. That is too far beyond me. Say what you want. Call me a prude. That's gross. Anyway, ain't y'all talking about it over food? I can't. Anyway, they get done eating, and I'm glad, because I didn't want to hear no more of that foolishness. So Robin invites everybody back to her room at the hotel. I said, all they are doing is eating meals, talking, drinking, going back to the hotel. And then I remembered they were in Austin. Well, hell, Ain't really shit else to do. That's a dumbass vacation spot. Anyway, they were drunk as hell. You could tell. Candace couldn't find her shoes. Mia thought she was Alicia Keys, and that was funny. I ain't gonna lie. And Robin is mad because Candace is acting like nothing happened. Robin had sound effects for swallowing. It was a mess. It was just a mess. I didn't even understand why she was. Okay, girl. Candace doesn't make much sense to me. She was like, Robin has always been like a big sister to me, and I think we should fix it. I was like, really? Were y'all that close? Like, on this show, like, ever? I really don't remember that. I don't remember them necessarily battling with each other, but this whole idea, like, she's been a big sister, I miss that. I've never gotten that vibe. I mean, if she said Karen had always been supportive and she kind of looked up to Karen, maybe as more of a maternal figure, then fine. Especially the way Karen was supportive of her when she was dealing with her mother's issues and that kind of thing, I would have believed it. Robin is friends with Giselle, okay? Who tried to tear your husband and marriage down. She can't be fucking trusted. Fuck her, Candace. Fuck that bitch. That should be your attitude. Anyway, so then we get the next day, and Naneka's in her bed. She's talking to her husband. He's about to board the plane because, you know, he's a doctor that travels. And I think that's why she needs to let up on herself when it comes to, like, conceiving. Because the bottom line is your husband is back and forth. And it's only been a year, and I think she's just feeling that pressure to, like, produce a kid to the point where I feel like she's just worried about having a child and not thinking about why she would want a child. That's just me. All right? And she told her husband, look, this Wendy stuff is going too far. She was like, she called me a crackhead. The way her husband laughed. The way her husband laughed when she told him, first of all, because I didn't take that shit seriously. But the way he laughed had me dying because he had like a deep chuckle about it. He was like, everybody knows you're not a crackhead. Just ignore her. But I was just like, Naneka, girl. People call people crackheads all the time. It ain't that deep. It's not that deep. Okay, let it go. Anyway, so they're at breakfast. Okay, Giselle asked how, talking to Robin, this is before everybody gets down there. And she was like, how did you even let Candace in your room? Robin was like, well, she was just, so Robin, of course, goes into her weak bitch mode, which is her regular mode. And she was like, yeah, I don't really know why I did that. Robin was like, she was just in there talking about how I conspired with Giselle to accuse her husband of, you know, flirting with you, and I was a fraud. I was like, Robin, bitch, are you that Delulu? Like, where was the lie with any of that? All of that shit is true. We watched it. It's documented on tape. You did that. You should be apologizing to her. The fact that you even still thinking of ways to ignore what you did is really disturbing to me. It really is. It's bothersome. So Ashley wanted to do some activity with all the women painting their vaginas. Another vulgar thing that we don't need. Karen was crisp, short, and clear, and to the point, and said no. No. Okay, Wendy was like, what is wrong with you? Now, see, Wendy, that's when you should have just left it to Karen, because, see, Karen's been consistent. And Ashley got you together when Ashley was like, what's the big deal? Y'all have already seen each other's vaginas, referring to Wendy and Mia and the stuff that was on tape, everything else. And I'm just like, right. Yep. So relax. Relax. All right. But Ashley told Karen she could draw a rose or something like that. Then we get a shift. The kind of shifts like we have in reality shows where, or like I told y'all about at the beginning of the video, where you just don't know how it goes, but you know what happens. All right. So Karen brings up to Robin, she said basically that you only talk to half the group. And she says that creates division. So she wants to ask her in front of everybody. And I was waiting for some kind of big, you know, harsh thing. And she was like, how are you doing? Okay, which I did not think was a bad question. Now, granted, the fact that Karen's bringing it up in front of everybody already sets the stage for some bull. But nevertheless, because of all the stuff that's going on with Juan. Anyway, so Robin was like, I don't think I create division. I reach out to people who reach out to me. So Candace said, but you ignored me when I reached out to check on you. I said, ooh. Well then. She was like, well, you have been attacking me incessantly on social media. Robin. I don't care. I'm going to say this till they kick you off this goddamn show. I will not be satisfied until you are off this cast. Because you are so boring, so lame, so ridiculous. Even with this shitstorm all around you, you managed to still give us nothing but your whack ass tears. You're attacking me incessantly on social media. Robin, attacking you? Or was Candace defending her husband and her family that you helped tear down publicly by spreading those fucking lies about him and Giselle, knowing good and goddamn well that bitch was lying, and she was lying to cover up your shit? Miss me with the bullshit, okay? The fact that you can even get up enough nerve to lie like that, is really bothersome to me. All right, so she then started talking about how she has been through hell with people on social media, and Candace was like, so have I. And the truth be told, all of y'all have. If y'all can't bond over anything else in this group on this show, all of y'all know what it's like to be on this reality show where people think they know your whole life and talk about you like a dog on social media. Because honestly, y'all only really have each other in regards to that. Most people aren't on reality TV to even know what that's like. Okay, so don't act like you're the only one who's been through stuff. And Robin, go delete your accounts or something, or stop looking at your phone. Anyway, so then Robin gets up with her weak, corny ass, okay, and says, what do you want to do, Karen? Beat me up, here I am. You know good and goddamn well Karen wasn't thinking about beating you up. First of all, she looked too comfortable in that chair to get up. Anyway, this has not typically gone well for people on this show. Monique set the precedent of, you want to drag me, and then Candace got dragged. I don't think we should continue this crew, because y'all aren't like Atlanta. Y'all don't back y'all's threats up well. So what I'm saying is, don't start none, won't be none. Okay? So Karen was basically like, girl, bye. You are getting attacked because you have not been accountable to your truth. In other words, you've been in denial for yourself alone. She was like, you've lied the entire year. You have, Robin. Karen said this reminds her. Karen was in her confession. I told y'all, Karen been killing the confessionals this year. Karen said this reminds her of a polygamy camp when the women defend their husband no matter what. Like, nah, he's a good man. You just don't know. She said all she was missing was that bonnet. The bonnet those people wearing those like Mormon cults. She said, I was done with Robin. Sit down, girl. Just put on your bonnet. And I'm like, you know what? Let's keep that going for the rest of the season, Karen, because that was good. Anyway, Robin starts talking about how she never saw the message. Or messages plural. Because one cleans his phone out like crazy. Everybody made the same damn face. Everybody around that room was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, why do you think he's doing that, Robin? Candace did ask, was there a piece of you that was afraid to find out what may or may not have gone on between him and that woman in Canada or wherever the fuck she was? Whatever. All right. So, Robin, most women, okay, I'll avoid saying all to avoid absolutes, but the overwhelming majority of women have been where you are, okay, even if it hasn't been a marriage. That's why Candace knew what question to ask, okay? And had you not spent all that time and energy helping Giselle with those lies about Chris, you could be sitting down on your Austin fucking hotel couch, okay, chilling, okay? But see, you can't do that now. It's too late. And then you keep digging this fucking hole with these lies and shit on my goddamn nerves. But you dug this hole, bitch. Now deal. So Giselle said in the confessional, in her defense, with that cheap ass... Giselle, it's not that you don't deserve such... It's not that you don't deserve heavy reads. I just don't understand why you continue to do the same things. And that fake boyfriend that you talking to over the phone trying to convince us that you have one, stop. Like, just stop. Okay, we don't believe you. Anyway, okay, so Giselle said in her defense there is something called trust. But she said it couldn't be me. And that she would be looking all up and through there. How has that worked out for you, Giselle? I mean, for somebody who claims they look all up and through people's phones, how has that worked out for you? Have you really responded to information when you found out? Right. Okay. So I think there are some conversations that you need to retreat from and retreat from quick. And this is one of them. Anyway, so they pick out a hat randomly where to go, whether it was to a distillery or to go shoe shopping. I don't even know how those fucking compare, but whatever. So Karen and Robin get the same place, and Candace was nice enough to trade after they had gone through that whole mess. All right, was it me or did everybody but Karen look like they were going with the exception of Karen and Robin? When they got downstairs, was it me or did everybody look like they were going to shoot like a porno? Like it was not cute. Like I don't know who told them to dress like that. It was given real cheap and tired and porno. Anyway, why is this season so focused on Robin? Like we don't even care. Like I said, even despite this shitstorm around her, she's still not giving us anything to work with. Like she just is not good for TV ever. She wasn't before. I don't even understand why she's around. Like, and I know, like, I just can't. I can't with this bullshit. I can't. Robin, get the fuck off the show. All right? So, anyway. So, Naneka starts talking, and she's talking with them about how her original wedding went bad and that nothing went right. From those pictures, honestly, Naneka, I couldn't tell. She was like, their outfits were ugly. And I was like, what are you talking about? See, that's how you know somebody has a whole lot of stuff, because they don't have any sort of gauge in terms of what's good and what's bad simply because it didn't go their way. Also, Naneka, I'm really looking at you like a dummy. Why did you move a week before your wedding? That shit was stupid. And all y'all sitting around trying on shoes, nobody asked, why the fuck would you move somewhere a week before your wedding? Your wedding was planned. Why are you moving to a whole, like, where was your, like, what? Like, this is what I mean. Y'all want to be in other people's business about this, that, and the other. And then when it comes to questions like this, nobody asks. I don't get it. Anyway, so then they started talking about the way the ladies were asking Robin questions. And they were like, really, they made it about them. Giselle. To sit here and say they made it about them. Like, you are such a delusional bitch. But it's not even delusional. Because I feel like to call you delusional is to give you a compliment. Like, you purposely and consciously distort the truth at every turn. And I'm not here for it. So they're outside the distillery. And by they, I mean Wendy, Candace, Mia, and Karen. And they're talking about the beer. So, just chatting. Then there is a crow. And he's crowing on the fence outside, he or she. And Wendy was like, oh, y'all know my history of birds. And they showed the throwback of when that one bird was flying around Monique's house and she was overdoing it with her screaming. The same way she overdid it when she was screaming for Robin's engagement. Then Mia said, that's not your mama, is it? I am sorry. I don't give a fuck. That shit was fucking funny. I don't care, okay? That shit took me out. That was good, Mia. Because we know we ain't going to get a whole lot of that from you. So then Wendy was like, don't do that. I was like, Wendy, you supposed to take up for your mother, but this is when all this shit starts to get on my nerves. So Wendy clears up the shrine stuff. Then she said, look, I didn't want to have to explain it because I didn't feel like I should have to. But shrines, like we have this to each saint. And I'm like, just like I told y'all, we were talking about Voodoo. Like, it looks different in different places. People call it these different things. I mean, it's not Voodoo, but I'm just making a point. And I'm like, but Wendy, you should have fucking explained that. You clearly know these ignorant bitches didn't know that. And I'm just like, that could have actually shored up a lot of this information. Like, it would have actually cut the conversation. Even though I do know you lying about, your mama and the conversations and who knows who. Okay, but nevertheless, if you would have actually said that, and you can say you didn't feel the need, clearly these dumb, ignorant bitches didn't know. Okay? But was it me, or did it seem like Wendy, as she was talking about the shrines and Catholicism, like she was looking up the information on her phone? Not because, it didn't look like she was texting and talking. Like, it looked like she was looking it up. But okay, girl, I'm going to let it slide. Okay? And then she starts crying about how her mother had sacrificed a whole lot for her, and it's hard for her to hear it. And to their credit, Karen, checked it. I mean, she had checked it when Mia said it before. Candace and Mia was like, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. And that's what I mean. Like, Mia's dumb and she can be a hood rat, but like, she doesn't really stay on shit. And I can respect the fact that she can just kind of go and admit that she was wrong because you were. Okay. And, you know, when you make somebody cry, whether you feel like you did it or not, like, you know, I can respect that. So when they get together as a group, which I was confused about, because all of a sudden the ladies were saying they were having lunch, but Wendy, Mia, Karen, and Candace were out there eating fries and burgers before they met up. But okay, Mia and Karen apparently bought their blue checks for Twitter. I have never been on Twitter or X, whatever it's called. I've never been on it. Because I remember when it came out, I just felt like everybody was losing their jobs because the shit they were saying on Twitter. I said, I ain't got time. Anyway, and that was funny because they went down that list and explained to her that you bought it by subscribing to it. And there was literally an Apple receipt for it. Wendy found that on her iPhone like that. I said, Karen, bye. We don't care. Karen, just cut it out. We ain't got time for them kind of lies. Anyway, so they started asking Ashley about her divorce. Mia got down to it. Now, see, Mia, this is when you helpful, okay? But, and we, you know, if Mia was even kind of helpful this episode, next episode, she gonna be just completely useless, rude, problematic. Anyway, it isn't clear whether or not Ashley has filed for divorce. I'm over it. I just think Ashley really does have a complex. I think Michael is a representation of who she wanted her father to be to some extent. So she married an older white man that was not in her life to like replace him, like that therapist pointed out to her black ass several seasons ago. But anyway, she said, well, in the perfect world, she would have her kids during the week and he would have them every other weekend. And Wendy was like, every other weekend, not every weekend. She was like, no, I don't want to be away from my kids like that. And she was like, of course, Michael doesn't agree with that. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that Michael disagrees with that. I don't. And I think that's why she's okay with kind of even setting it up in her head that way. Anyway, then Mia went for the jugular. And went from Ashley to Candace. Okay, who are two sides of the same coin. I'm just going to tell y'all that anyway. I just feel like they are both pageant girls who are still in that kind of like catty mess with each other. They're like the same person. So Mia was just like over that shit. And then she goes for the jugular and asks Candace about the lawsuit. And without even changing her face, Mia was like dipping her ketchup, putting salt on her food. And she asked Candace, she said, yeah, Michael Darby's suing you, right? What? All right, then Candace said, look, I'm not talking about that in this group. I was like, okay, girl. Then Robin's dumb, weak ass, okay, says, can we get a list of what we can and cannot talk about? Robin, you of all people, you should have set this one out, okay? You don't learn, and that's why I don't feel sorry for you. You wasn't giving nobody no answers. Then you got in the car at the end of the episode crying about what people was asking you about. Do you really want to go there? You don't. You can't handle it. So Candace brings up Juan had a lawsuit too. Now let me tell you something. I know that's right. When people try to put your shit out on the table, you better hurry and put their shit out on the table to put them back in their place. Anyway, so then Wendy was like, it's a Title IX violation. That's why he was fired. And she was like, no, it wasn't. You don't know what you're talking about. This, that, and the other. Robin said that's not why. And the state of Maryland was representing him because they know he didn't do anything wrong. Okay. So your husband, Juan, worked at Coppin State. That is a state institution in Maryland. A state college. So because it's a state institution that the state pays taxes for, the state hires and approves hires that work there. When things like this happen, that is within the contract of working for the state, that the state will at least provide defense for you in these scenarios. That's why, not because they believe he's innocent. That's part of being in a state school. Now, granted, Juan wasn't winning a whole lot of games. Coaches get fired like this all the time. Now, is it possible? To Wendy's point, we know that Ron was not found guilty. Okay. However, I will say this. Let's be clear. Many people try to sue with the Title IX legalities, okay? Because they have the right to. And simply because somebody is not found guilty of a crime, and we as black people know, does not mean they did not do it. Does not mean that they did not create an atmosphere for it. I'm not saying that's the case, but that is not an automatic thing. Okay? Nevertheless, um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, we get to see in the car, and Candace and Robin are talking, and Robin is talking about how she was really pissed off with Wendy for suggesting that he got fired because of this Title IX stuff. The school didn't say he got fired for that. Because honestly, if it was a Title IX violation, if we're being honest, an institution, particularly a state institution, would have gotten ahead of it and said we fired him because of this. I think he was getting fired because he lost too many games. I think that's actually what was like in the articles. I can't remember though, straight off the top of my head. And Robin was like, and that pisses me off because like it's made our life hell for a year. I get it. I get that that's upsetting to you and your family, Robin. However, then maybe you shouldn't have tried to make Candace's life hell for a year, knowing you and Giselle were lying about her husband. Okay, so I'm not feeling the sympathy. I feel sorry for y'all's kids. I feel sorry that y'all can't get it together. I'm sorry you stayed on a reality show so we could scrutinize your life, and I'm over it. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have a great week. All right, and sending good vibes your way, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.